Hi, I'm Mike Cherniffsky, and you're listening to This Podcast is Uncalled For. Coming to you from the city that puts Travis Kelce on the map long before the Swifties would have you think. As you probably know, if you're a regular listener to this podcast, I played football, wide receiver and defensive back, and I'm still a football fan, although not as much as I used to be. We've already recorded plenty of episodes on the subject. But I thought, given this whole phenomenon of Swifties, Taylor Swift fans, becoming football fans because she's rumored to be dating Mr. Kelce, our local tight end and fellow podcaster, by the way, I thought, let's introduce football to this demographic. I've already tried recording this once. I didn't like how it went, so we'll try again, this time with the help of Cody Benjamin from CBSSports.com. As I usually do with these episodes, I'll read a little bit, then if there's somewhere where I need to insert thoughts, I'll do so. So the title of this article is Taylor Swift at Chiefs Broncos Thursday Night Football. Basic NFL rules explainer for Swifties wanting to get into football. Here's how to tune in without being confused, because I will admit football can be a confusing game if you're not used to it, and it is a very complex and very specialized game. So, here we go. The NFL recognized Taylor Swift's attendance at the Chiefs' wins over Duppers and the Jets earlier this season. It's possible she's in the stands to stay now that a dating relationship with star tight end Travis Kelce is all but confirmed. But if Swift is set to be a faithful NFL viewer this season, she is currently at Arrowhead at the time this article was written for the Thursday Night Football matchup between the Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, favorite team of the South Park kids and one time owned by Homer Simpson. It's only natural to expect that Swifties, her notoriously loyal fan base, will join the cause. Turns out they've already begun online discussions about how to properly watch football, and Kelce, their favorite pop star's new friend, in case that includes you, here's a quick overview on the basics, which will hopefully ensure that Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays aren't so confusing. Let's also add Friday nights for high school football and Saturdays for college football, because they're basically all the same sports, just with different twists. What is the object of the game? Well, like most games, it's to score the most points. Not unusual, right? But in football, each team has 11 players on the field at any one time, either on offense or defense. There's a third stage to football called special teams, and that is pretty much anything having to do with kicking the football, whether it's punting or kickoffs or kicking a field goal. And now we get to how our points scored. Well, the offense, the team with the football, tries to move the ball to the opposite end of the field, which is marked by an end zone. The offense gets 4 tries, also known as downs, to advance 10 yards and earn another 4 tries, and so on and so on. Or else the other team will take possession of the ball. So if we're watching a game and they say 1st and 10, that is first down, 10 yards. Let's say they pick up 3 yards on the play. Then it becomes 2nd down and 7 to go. And so on and so forth. If they're within 10 yards of the goal line, it'll become 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, so on. But these are the common methods of scoring points in football. One is the touchdown. Play that moves the ball into the end zone, and you score 6 points for that. Then extra points will be a kick through the end zone goalposts. That occurs after a touchdown, and it's an additional point, so that's 1 point. They have field goals, a field goal is a kick that does not occur directly after a touchdown, usually because they're on the 4th down situation, close to the goal but not quite there. And field goal will score you 3 points. Other ways of scoring include the 2-point conversion, which is attempted instead of an extra point. It requires the ball to be advanced in the end zone again, so you're scoring another touchdown, but this time only for 2 points. And the safety, which results in 2 points from the defense if they tackle an offensive ball carrier in their own end zone, so at the other end of the field. Has the ball moved? Well, the ball is moved in one of 2 ways: by running it or passing it. An offensive is led by the quarterback, the player who usually handles the ball on every play, and this player is permitted to throw the ball, usually to wide receivers or tight ends. Running backs are usually asked to run with the ball after receiving it from the quarterback. Now, there are some examples of great players at all of these positions. You may have heard the name Tom Brady. He played quarterback. If you are a Swiftie, odds are you're going to be a Chiefs fan anyway, because that's the team that Mr. Kelsey plays for as a tight end, by the way. And your quarterback's name is Patrick Mahomes. Other quarterbacks I'm going to mention right now include the likes of Kurt Warner, probably my favorite quarterback, being a former St. Louis fan. Terry Bradshaw, Roger Staubach, Bart Starr, Joan Willie Namath, and particular notes for Chiefs fans, the recently departed Len Dawson. Running backs, favorite player of all time for me is Eric Dickerson. He played the running back position. Marshall Faulk, Jerome Bettis, to give a Chiefs example, Priest Holmes, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. These are all examples of running backs. Wide receivers, again, you're talking to a former St. Louis fan, so Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. A lot of people say Jerry Rice, Marvin Harrison, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Deion Sanders when he played offense, Michael Irvin. Those are all examples of wide receivers. And tight ends. A tight end is kind of a cross between an offensive lineman and a wide receiver, so-called because he lines up tight to the line and serves as a blocker as well as a receiver. And this is Kelsey's position. Others in this position, while the most famous Chiefs example is Tony Gonzalez, but you could also point to Mike Ditka when he was a player, Shannon Sharp, Ben Coates, just to name a few. What are other noble plays to know? Well, if an offense does not earn a new set of 4 downs by advancing 10 yards. In its effort to score, it can elect to punt the ball, which means kick it back to the opposing team, and then get its own chance to advance the ball and score. If a defense tackles the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage, which is where the ball is set and snapped on every play, the tackle is called a sack and pushes that offense back to where the quarterback hits the ground. By the way, the term sack was coined by Deacon Jones, probably one of the best defensive linemen ever to play the game. If a defensive player catches a pass thrown by the offense, it is called an interception or a pick. Interception immediately results in the defense taking possession of the football, which can be advanced in the direction the defense is facing, possibly for a touchdown. And kickoffs occur at the start of the game, at halftime, and after every scoring possession. They're meant simply for one team to kick the ball to the other and begin the possession of the receiving team. So those are the absolute basics of how football is played. Now I'm going to go in a little more detail about how offense and defense is set up. So those positions we mentioned earlier, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight ends, collectively those are known as skill positions. And they make up 6 of the 11 guys on the offensive side. The other 5 are collectively known as the offensive line. And these tend to be the really, really big guys who block for the quarterback and open holes for the running backs. Starting with the center, the guy in the middle, the center, who actually starts every play by snapping the ball to the quarterback. Meaning he will take the ball at the line of scrimmage, he will place it in between his legs for the quarterback to take, either directly behind the center, which means the quarterback has his hands on the center's butt, or in shotgun formation, meaning it's a deeper snap and the quarterback is positioned a little further away. On either side of the center are the 2 guards, and they're again all about blocking. And then on either side of the guards are the 2 tackles. Left tackle is seen more as a pass blocker because most quarterbacks are right-handed, and the left tackle is protecting their blind side, whereas right tackles tend to be more run blockers. So yeah, we already went over some of the positions among the skill players. Now I need to talk about split end and tight end. So in football parlance, you'll often hear X, Y, and Z receivers. X receiver is a split end. One of the rules is you have to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage for offense. Your 5 O linemen and the 2 ends. A split end is a wide receiver lined up away from the rest of the line, whereas the tight end lines up right next to the line. Hence the name. And so X is your split end, Y is your tight end, and Z is called the flanker. And he actually lines up in the backfield. And you can mix the skill players up any way you want, provided you have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. Defense, you can be a little more loose with that. Typically, certainly in the NFL, you'll see what's called 4-3, meaning you have 4 defensive linemen, 2 tackles, and 2 ends. and 3 linebackers. With a middle linebacker, also known as a Mike linebacker, and often strong side and weak side linebackers, or Sam and Willie. And those 7 guys are known as the box, and they're primarily about getting through the line and trying to stop the run game as much as possible, or trying to get after the quarterback, trying to get after the sacks. It's usually going to be one of those 7 guys that tries to get the sacks. Everything. You'll also on occasion see 3-4 defenses. That's 3 down linemen. So you're down to just 1 tackle. In this case, he'd be known as a nose tackle, right on the nose of the football. And then you have 2 inside linebackers and 2 outside linebackers in this particular setup. And then we get to where I played defensively, and that's the secondary or defensive backs. And they are generally divided into cornerbacks and safeties. Corners will line up pretty much right on the wide receivers, and they're all about defending the wideouts. Whereas safeties, they're usually 2. Strong safety, free safety. Strong safety will line up on the tight end side of the field, whereas the free safety is on the opposite end, and they're all about protecting the deep middle parts of the field. So defensive backs are all about the pass game. On occasion, I say you're in a 3rd and 10 or 3rd and longer situation, you'll need to bring in an extra defensive back. So you'll pull a lineman or a linebacker or 2 and put in extra defensive back. So when you get into that situation, the 5th defensive back is known as a nickel back. And now you know how the band got its name. And a 6th defensive back is called a dime back. All right. And then with special teams, you have kickoff return, punt return, field goal, and extra points, and trying to block the field goals as well. So those are the absolute basics of football. The primary league with this particular sport, of course, is the National Football League. And there are 32 teams in that league. Obviously, if you're a Swiftie, you're probably going to gravitate towards our local team. Of which, if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know I am not a fan of. So, but that said, you can choose to follow the local team or follow the other teams. If you're going to choose a team based on how many championships they've won, then your best bets are going to be the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers, both of which have won 6 Super Bowls. The Super Bowl is the big championship at the end of the season. Is contested between a team from the National Football Conference, or NFC, and the American Football Conference, or AFC. This goes back a bit of a history lesson here. There have been 57 Super Bowls played to date. The current season will end in the 58th Super Bowl. It goes back to the 60s, where there were actually 2 different leagues. The NFL, which started in 1920, and the AFL, which started in 1960. The 2 leagues eventually merged, and the Super Bowl was the result. It was for the first 4 Super Bowls were between the champions of the NFL and the AFL. In fact, the very first Super Bowl, Swifties, was won by the Green Bay Packers of the NFL over these Kansas City Chiefs in the AFL. So welcome to football. It's good sports. The league, well, I've already devoted plenty of time on this podcast to how I feel about the league. But do enjoy yourselves, and the rest of us will just keep an eye out for the hit-selling song that will inevitably come out. But all that being said, I want you to have a great day and enjoy football. This podcast is uncalled for. It is hosted, produced, and edited by myself, Mike Chernevsky. The opening music is Iron Bacon by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons Attribution License. And our outro music for this episode is Rocky Top by Jason Shaw, available at freemusicarchive.org, and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license.
If you are in the United States or Canada, you can call us at 816-832-5160. Leave your message or question for us, and if we like it, we will play it on the podcast. Please support the podcast and purchase our exclusive uncalled for merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and so much more. Go to www.cafepress.com/uncalledforpod. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.